Today I'm going to be taking a look at GROTH by Wavelet Audio, a modern cinematic instrument inspired by the Dark Ages and mythology. And let me tell you, this is one of the most underrated and probably unheard of libraries I've come across in a while. I was told about this by a colleague of mine who works in the trailer space, and I just had to check it out, loved it, and reached out to the team to collaborate on taking a look at the plugin. Everything you just heard in the showcase that started this video came out of GROTH. Everything from the drums to the synths to the pings. So this is a toolkit that can be used from an end to end, given the kind of music that you're looking to write. And personally, I've currently been using GROTH in a score that I'm doing for a short film, as well as some trailer customs that I've been working on. So let's dive straight into it. So this is my Cubase session that I have at the moment. Inside here, you can see all the stems that I used to create that showcase video. And actually, it's not a lot to get quite a nice full sound, which is really, really cool. I've got a whoosh stem, a playable synth stem. I've got the female kind of rage screaming patch that's going here, which is really cool. I've also got the pings, I can never pronounce this right, Telegaharpa 1 and 2, bends, and then layered drones, atonal drones, and also the drums. So a couple of things, I'm going to just solo a few sounds first so you can hear them on their own, and then I'm going to be taking a look at a couple of different UIs, because depending on the patch that you load up, there are a couple of different UIs that are in use. So I've identified the drums, the layered drones, the Telegaharpa, and also the whooshes. All have just slight variations on the UI. I want to preface by saying this is probably one of the easiest cinematic libraries to use. You know, I've used a range of stuff doing different trailer customs and things for TV, and some of them are really complicated to use. Lots of knobs, lots of macros that you can do, but GROTH is really, really simple, which I appreciate, because one of the big things in my Cubase template, especially when I'm scoring and things like that, is I want the sound to be ready to go, easy. I don't want anything to stifle my creativity. So I'm going to solo a couple of things first. We'll listen to the drums first. When I first heard some of these sounds straight out of the box, and keep in mind, I have done very, very minimal mixing to this. I think, honestly, the only thing I've done is just play around with just a couple of different reverbs. Got 7 Heaven Professional on here. I've got Tai Chi, and then I think on my mastering chain, I just have, EOS's Air EQ Premium. I wanted to make sure that this was pretty much, for the most part, let's just sound straight out of the box. I don't love manipulating sounds when I'm reviewing an instrument library, because I want people to get kind of exactly what they're getting out of the box, because obviously you can do a lot of sound design. But I was super impressed. If you've ever tried to do like custom music for trailers, or if you've done generic briefs, or if you're just in general trying to get that dark, that Viking sound, that mythology sound, if you've listened to kind of the latest Doom soundtrack, things like that, a lot of these sounds fit perfectly in that pocket. And Wavelet Audio, they have a lot of offerings that fit in very specific niches. A new library just came out about a day before I filmed this video. They've got Eda, which is another library. So I definitely recommend going and checking out a lot of those things. So now I'm going to drag in different UIs, and we're just going to talk about what's kind of on offering here from those ones. So this UI that I've loaded up here, this is the ensembles percussion. So this is the UI you would get from loading up some of the drum patches. You've got some flam macros here, which I've disabled. You've got some velocity, some AHD, and then also some microphones. So you can actually play around with different parameters with the mic here too, which is really cool as well. And then you've got medium, far, the presence as well. So it actually just kind of overrides all of those things, and it just makes it super easy for you. This is what I was talking about. This is a really easy library to use, which is a big thing that I appreciate. Same with this down here. If you want to kind of move to a dark, move to a bright presence. So you've got the main, and then you've got this sequencer too. So you can actually see that the UI in itself changes. You go to the red. I didn't use the sequencer in this scenario. I just wrote my own drum part, but you can see here that they've got kind of just a full grid for you. There's some presets as well, which is really handy if you just want some inspiration too. You've got a bunch of straight presets and then some triplets as well, and they load up too, which is really, really cool. So yeah, just some really, really awesome, awesome presets that you can get out of the percussion phase. For me personally, like I probably in my most recent trailer custom that I didn't use GROTH for the drums. I actually used their bends and their atonal drones though, because I think out of my entire kind of orchestral suite, they are the best sounding bends and atonal drones I have. And I also utilize the pings quite a bit too. But I think the really awesome thing about something like GROTH is that if you're starting to get into this space for the first time, or you're looking to fill a couple of like pockets of sounds, and maybe you're on a limited budget, or you just don't know what to get, the drum tones out of this, awesome. Absolutely beat quite a big margin of the competition. And then you start to get into libraries that specifically focus on the drums, and that's where I think something like GROTH is really cool, because you can get everything from drums all the way to whooshes really at a high quality. So you've got that sequencing mode, you've got that main mode. Yeah, you can start to play around with, like, there's the steps parameter here, there's also the speed, so you can start to really change things up, the dynamics push. Like, it's a really easy sequencer, which is, yeah, big thing that I appreciate here. You can even, yeah, you can go crazy. Yeah, which I would never do, but really awesome. From here, let's take a look at the layered drones. So the layered drones one, I'm just dragging these in here. The layered drones one is a little bit different. If I really appreciate the art, the effort they've put into the art for this. It's really cool. So you can see here that there is kind of a couple of layers here. You've got the tonal layer, the percussion layer, the effects layer. And as I'll play through in a minute, you kind of will just see the samples change a bit. So that's the pitch. You can hear that it's kind of adjusting to based on where I'm playing. But if we switch off the playable mode here, we'll start to just get a range of different drones. So essentially the difference between the playable mode and non-playable mode is when you're off playable mode, you're just playing around with all different combinations. Then when you found something that you really like, then you can go into playable mode and you just stick with it. And what I just did there while I was playing around with that one is I've adjusted the volume of the tone, the volume of the effects, and then maybe just drop the percussion. That's the thing about this library. It is so easy to get the sound that comes straight out of the box, tweak it to taste, and then all of a sudden it's this integral part of whatever you're writing, which is really, really cool. I appreciate the simplicity and the thought that they've put into something like this. So yeah, the layered drones feature is something I think is really, really cool. I'm currently using it at the moment on a score I'm doing for a short film that very much fits into this kind of, I wouldn't say dark ages pocket, but it's very much in that, if you've ever seen Saltburn and Talk to Me, that horror film kind of style, but it's that thriller feel. I've been using this instrument quite a bit to get some of the sounds, and I've been doing a lot of tweaking, a lot of sound designing too. It's a great basis too for printing audio and then applying additional processing on top. So that's the layered drones UI. If I look now at the Telegar Harper, it's a bit different. So this is a loop. These are loops. These ones. So when you have this, you've kind of got the loop preloaded, and a different key will trigger a different loop. So if I just play it through here a bit. So what I was doing there is I was just playing around. So each different key kind of triggers a different loop in this mode. And then, yeah, you've got the speed modifier of the loop itself. And then you've got a bunch of parameters there. So, yeah, very classic stuff. Your volume, your pan, your stereo width, cutoff, reverbs, delay speed, delay wet. And then, yeah, attack and release in there too. This is really awesome. I think this is a really great kind of inspiration starter. I think for me personally, like a lot of the time, I try to avoid using like straight loops. But the thing is that when you have something like this layered as a part of a bigger composition, I think it's really, really awesome. And then like with the speed modifiers, you could print that audio, you could chop it up, you can do a lot of things. I think this is a really sick kind of aspect of GROTH, also because I don't have access to this instrument in general in real life. I would love to at some point and kind of write and utilize that, but this is definitely the best sounding harper that I've got at the moment. But yeah, the loops that they've done are really high quality too. You can really feel the articulation and everything like that coming through in the performance. So they haven't skimped out on quality at all. And like all the other UIs, it's very, very easy to use, which I appreciate a lot. From there, let's go into the final UI that I want to showcase. And this is just very similar to the Telegar Harper. This is the whoosh layers that I've got loaded up here. So if I kind of just play now, you'll see what happens. It's very similar. So the kind of the difference is here with that left hand, you can see the red keyboard on the side, the key switches, that I believe I'm selecting my pitch, and then the right hand is all these different whoosh options, which is really sick. This says some slightly different settings here. So we've got a gate rate, we've got gate sensitivity, excuse me, and then we've got the volume, the pan, the stereo, the cutoff, the reverb, and then we've got attack, hold, decay, sustain, release. So within that as well, we've also got the start time, which is really cool. So you can have like start it right on the hit. So like you're actually avoiding the whoosh altogether. Or we can start at a quarter bar into the hit. Or 2 bars into the hit, which in this case actually probably is the end. An eighth. So that's kind of good. So you can say like, yeah, a quarter, sorry, an eighth, no, eighth of the bar to the hit, or half bar to the hit. Or just from the custom, which is just at the start. 1 bar. So yeah, my mistake before. So if we did 2 bars to hit, you could set that up too. You could have the your metronome going for your tracking. You'd start 2 bars before, and then you'd know it would go on in time. So it's like 1. Yeah, great. So it's like I've got it at 142, so I just counted there, and then bang, on the second bar it came in. 4 bars, yeah, this is really handy, especially too if you've worked with whooshes before in your sessions. You know that sometimes you'll load in a whoosh and you'll spend all this time trying to drag it so it falls right onto the point, which is quite frustrating. But in this scenario, they've made it really, really easy. So that is like the whoosh UI overall. The other function as well, which is cool, is you can reverse it. So if we just go to custom, so like that's a scenario where I actually think the reverse one's cooler. But once again, it's a great example of how easy the UI has been developed here. In kind of those are like the different kind of UI changes within that I identified while I was writing. But as you can see here, like my session doesn't have a lot of stems to get a really, really full sound. And if you're thinking in the context of a really huge kind of trailer mix and things like that, you've got a lot of these sounds that can piece in and really build your atmosphere. The atonal drones, the layered drones, the bends, the whooshes, and the pings, I think would be my most like applied sounds across the board as I continue to use GROTH like down the line as a part of my larger productions. But without a doubt, I don't think I can recommend this enough for people that are looking for this pocket of sound. For, you know, if you're looking for this pocket of sound, or if you're looking for a cinematic instrument that is just really easy to use, that kind of gets out of your way of doing a lot of the things you want to do as a writer and a creative, this is an incredible library for you that I cannot recommend enough. So I absolutely think go check out Wavelet Audio, go check out GROTH, and also go check out all of their other libraries. They've got some really, really unique sounding instruments that I can't recommend enough, that I'm gonna check out in the not too distant future for sure. But yeah, thank you for checking out this video, and go download and start using GROTH.